Mangwana ni malelepo Fukenjani Klekwas. Welcome to Africa. Good morning. Your portal into Africa's potent stories. Today we bring you an important lineup of headlines shaping the continent. Uganda denies striking a deportee agreement with the US, and opposition parties mobilize ahead of the 2026 elections. In the DRC, M23 rebels are accused of massacring civilians, while South Africa cracks down on a rhino horn trafficking ring. Kenya celebrates the official recognition of the Rastafari as a religion. We also feature our South Africa report with Arrie Hougaard and highlight the Tokyo International Conference on African Development. Watch us on DStv 285, GOtv 25, oneup2.com, NTV Africa, and Network Media Hub on YouTube. My name is Ashwin Berry. Top story shortly.
Irangomed is a leading distributor working in partnership with NewMed and WestMed to meet the comprehensive needs of the Namibian healthcare sector. As a partner pursuing sustainable global healthcare, we offer industry-leading medical solutions through our key focus areas, which include pharmaceuticals, orthopedics, ophthalmology, surgical devices and capital equipment, as well as a well-established scientific laboratory division. In healthcare, Irangomed is committed to making a difference. What about you?
Let's get into the top stories on Africa. Good morning. Uganda's government has dismissed claims that it agreed to receive deportees from the United States, countering a report by CBS News that cited internal U.S. documents. According to the report, Washington allegedly secured deportation deals with Uganda and Honduras under provisions of U.S. immigration law that allow asylum seekers to be rerouted to third countries deemed capable of handling claims. State Minister for Foreign Affairs Okello Oryem denied such an agreement, stating Uganda lacks the infrastructure to accommodate deportees. To the best of my knowledge, we have not reached such an agreement, Oryem told Reuters, stressing that facilities to host illegal immigrants are unavailable. The U.S. has intensified efforts to deport immigrants who entered unlawfully, with previous removals sent to countries like South Sudan and Eswatini. Uganda already hosts nearly 2 million refugees, mostly from neighboring states, including the Democratic Republic of Congo, South Sudan, and Sudan. Despite its close alliance with the U.S., the government maintains that no official deportation deal exists and clarified its position amidst rising migration policy tensions. Staying with Uganda, the 2026 election season is heating up as opposition leaders thronged the Electoral Commission to collect presidential nomination forms. The National Unity Platform, led by Secretary General David Louis Rubongoya and accompanied by Leader of Opposition Joel Senyonyi, showcased unity as they formally launched their presidential bid under the slogan, "The New Uganda Now." Rubongoya vowed to continue the fight for democratic change while warning against vote rigging and harassment, recalling past election irregularities. He highlighted previous raids on party headquarters, stolen funds and disrupted campaigns, pledging vigilance this time. Senyonyi urged security agencies to respect democratic freedoms, calling for unhindered participation in signature collection and campaigning. The Democratic Party, DP, led by Secretary General Gerald Siranda, also collected forms, emphasizing peaceful political transition and unity among Ugandans. With opposition parties mobilizing strongly, the 2026 elections are emerging as a critical moment in Uganda's political history, testing democratic resilience and the opposition's ability to challenge the ruling establishment effectively. At least 140 civilians were killed in July by M23 rebels in the Democratic Republic of Congo's Rutshuru territory, according to Human Rights Watch. In a report, the organization warns the death toll may exceed 300, aligning with United Nations estimates. Despite ongoing peace efforts, including a U.S.-brokered agreement between Congo and Rwanda on June 27 and Qatar-hosted negotiations, violence remains widespread across at least 14 villages near Virunga National Park. Survivor accounts detail harrowing scenes, including forced marches and mass executions. One woman described escaping death by plunging into a river while rebels opened fire. Another man reported witnessing the killing of his wife and 4 children, the youngest just 9 months old. Most victims were ethnic Hutu alongside members of the Nande community. Now, M23 denies involvement and has not responded to the latest claims. HRW is urging the UN Security Council, the EU and global governments to expand sanctions, pursue prosecutions and press Rwanda to allow independent forensic investigations in rebel-controlled areas. South African authorities have arrested 6 individuals, including controversial conservationist John Hume, after concluding a 7-year investigation into a large-scale rhino horn trafficking ring. The suspects allegedly obtained nearly 964 rhino horns, representing about 15% of the southern white rhino population, using fraudulent permits meant solely for domestic trade, later exporting them illegally to Southeast Asia. Hume transport manager Clive Melville, attorney Isaac Dutoit, non-profit director Elizabeth van den Neerkerk, insurance broker farmer Matthias Pochenpoel, and reserve manager Johannes Henop appeared before the Pretoria Magistrates Court on multiple charges, including fraud, racketeering, money laundering, and violations of the National Environmental Management Biodiversity Act. Bail ranged from 2,000 to 100,000 rand. Environment Minister Dion George hailed the arrests as a major victory in combating international wildlife crime. Hume, known for advocating legal horn trade and auctioning horns in 2017, sold his 7,800-hectare platinum rhino reserve in 2023. The next court hearing is set for December 9 as authorities intensify efforts to address rising poaching cases across Africa. Kenya's Rastafarian community is celebrating a new chapter after courts officially recognized Rastafari as a legitimate religion, marking a milestone for followers long subjected to discrimination. The shift began in 2019 when a schoolgirl was expelled for refusing to cut her dreadlocks and won a landmark ruling affirming Rastafarian rights. Rooted in the 1930 coronation of Rastafari Mekonnen as Emperor Haile Selassie of Ethiopia, the movement reveres Selassie as a divine figure and Ethiopia as a symbol of pride and resistance against colonialism. In Kenya, Rastafarians organize under 3 mansions, Nyambingi, Bobo Ashanti, and 12 tribes of Israel, meeting in modest tabernacles for worship. Members like Frederick Wangai describe turning to Rastafari for spiritual liberation from colonial influences, while Christine Wanjiru recalls past exclusions from jobs, schools, and public spaces. Elder Nganga Njunguna emphasizes Rastafari as a way of life, not just religion, inspiring younger generations with its art, diet, and Afrocentric identity. Now, despite lingering stereotypes, the movement's visibility and acceptance continues to grow nationwide. Those have been our top stories on Africa Good Morning. Shortly, we'll be joined by Arrie Hougaard as he delivers the South Africa report. But prior to that, it's the weather.
Welcome to Namibia, where adventure meets tranquility. With Enjoy, you have access to a wide range of accommodations to suit every traveler's taste and budget. Experience the finest dining and hospitality Namibia has to offer. Booking your dream accommodation is just a few clicks away with Enjoy. Join thousands of happy travelers who have trusted Enjoy for their Namibian getaway. Your gateway to unforgettable Namibian adventures. Visit us today at enjoy.my.na.
All right, it's time for us to talk to Arrie Hougaard as he delivers the South Africa report. Good morning, Arrie. How are you?
Yes, very good morning, Ashwin, and nice to talk to you, and good morning, everyone.
All right, Arrie, now you've got some very important updates for us in your current affairs. Elon Musk's SpaceX is pushing to enter the South African Wi-Fi market and has urged lawmakers to reconsider the 30% black ownership rules. In your next story after that, relations between the USA and South Africa remain under pressure with no new trade agreement signed yet, as well as retailer Checkers launching a new shopping technology initiative called Express Trolley. Take us through it, Arrie.
Yes, thank you, Ashwin. Yes, lots happening in South Africa. We had all the debates and all the chances for everybody talking over the weekend. So mixed reports coming back from that. But let's go to SpaceX. So obviously, internet and Wi-Fi is a big component internationally. I think just starting off with that, 1.7%, only 1.7% of urban South Africa do have Wi-Fi access, and it's mainly through the cell phone towers and cell phone systems, etc., that is achieved. So it's been a while that Elon Musk and SpaceX and Starlink's been trying to get into the South African market, so to speak. Obviously, it's a big business for them, and so he's asked lawmakers to reconsider. It's actually got to do with all telecom business, so not only for SpaceX, but telecom related business and companies that want to invest in South Africa. So he's been frustrated with the ownership, giving away 30% ownership, obviously, for his company. And at the moment, the definition is worded as a 30% specifically black ownership rule. So what SpaceX put on the table, they said they have got the equity, they call it the equity equivalent program. So it sounds impressive, but what it basically means is investing in infrastructure. So it's scaling to channel funds into that and also into communities. So I don't know if he's going to succeed in that. Obviously, it's going to be a longer process for South Africa to reconsider policies that's been in use for quite a while, so that will definitely be an issue. But other things that is a few sweeteners, as they call it, that he's putting on the table. For instance, if he can succeed to have Starlink in South Africa or Southern African users, he will give 5,000 schools in urban areas free Wi-Fi, and then also 2.4 students. Basically, all the students in South Africa will also get free Wi-Fi. So that's a bit of a sweetener on the side, but I think one must look at all the fine print in this, obviously. So that will happen. So that is Starlink and SpaceX trying to get. So just quickly, Starlink and SpaceX that offer it's Earth orbit satellite. So it's Earth. They offer obviously better and cheaper internet and easier to access. So that's the SpaceX side of what's happening in South Africa. Related to United States, obviously that's still going on. The trade is a big frustration. So there's not a new trade agreement. There's the two flags flying together. There's lots happening behind the scenes, I suppose, but there's nothing official. Still, the 30% tariff is in place. There's been grumblings from the United States that's related to the South African Defence Force General Mapungani that visited Iran, and statements that was made there. So in South Africa, there's a little bit of African government. If we take a step back, the frustrations and why we're in this discussion is basically because of our involvement from all the way from the south in the Israel, Gaza, things happening there. Obviously, there's been the court case. There's realigning. South Africa seems to be aligning a bit stronger with Iran and China and Russia and all that. So that's happening on the background. But I kind of wonder why we pulled into this all the time, or why all these things and statements from the US. But I think it's got to do a lot with Israel and Gaza. So we must understand what's happening around us. So South Africa obviously do have the right to align with any company or any country in terms of trade and relationships. So that's happening. So, but that's a politics for you. So South Africa's still in that. So the US officially asked for clarity on our stance, South Africa's stance on Iran. So that is pending. So we'll see what comes from that. Just moving on to Checkers as well. We all need to do shopping, but Checkers is making it a lot easier. That's what it looks like. It looks like the old trolley that we know, but you can see there's a device just on the hands of that person, and that makes it more technology friendly. So that is, they call it express trolley. So on that screen that's in front of that person, they display promotions, there's product details, there's running totals of all your products in your trolley at that moment. You can scan barcodes, and you can also basically navigate yourself in the shop. That's quite interesting. If you want to go to a certain aisle and get dog food, it will direct you to where it is. So it's real technology coming in. It's been tested in August here in Cape Town, in Brackenfell, one of the branches. It's been a success. You must be linked to the extra savings, obviously the extra savings card, and also if you link to the 60/60 delivery platform. Why that is important? Because when you go to the designated checkout point, it's very easy. You don't even need to take your stuff out of your trolley. You just basically pay with your card that's already saved on the system. So it's an easy checkout. So that is a real modern way of shopping these days, all that information right with you. So, so that's at the moment all the current news, Ashwin, in South Africa.
All right, Arrie, sounds exciting. Let's move into the sport. The South African women's rugby team kicks off their 2025 Rugby World Cup campaign in England this weekend, while the Springboks face Australia in Cape Town, hoping for a better result. And also, the Proteas men's cricket team continues their one-day series tour in Australia.
Yes, South Africa and Namibia, we love competing in World Cups. So it's a women's turn now. It's in England. It's there's the women in action, and they've developed quite a lot the last 2 years. First under Louis Kuhn and now under Swayze de Bruin as well. So they're doing really well. Competitive. They were competitive in warm-up games against Canada and against New Zealand. They actually beat New Zealand in the last game. So it's going to be tough in the World Cup. I don't see them. It's going to be tough to win that tournament because Canada, England, and New Zealand very strong, and England playing at home. So it starts tomorrow. It is England that will play the first game, the opening game against the USA, and then South Africa wait another day or two. The women's team play on Sunday. They play against Brazil. So that is their first game. They also play against Italy and France. And that's their games in the World Cup. So exciting rugby coming up for the next month there in England. Hopefully they can do well. They said their aim is to win at least one round-robin game, but maybe they can win a bit more than that. But yes, also in South Africa, it's Cape Town. It's a bit more cloudy and rainy. That's predicted for this coming weekend. Hopefully the rain will clear by kickoff time on Saturday, but it's South Africa playing Australia under big pressure. They lost in Ellis Park. Everybody's up in arms. How dare they lose? But it's sport, and you will lose. And also for the players a little bit as well, but they'll be stronger. That is Andre Pollard. He's back in the team, the trusty number 10. So he'll make a big difference for South Africa in that game, especially if it's a bit rainy and heavy underfoot. So that's a big test. That's 5:10. That's on Saturday. Springboks against Australia, the second rugby championship game. And then after that, they go for 2 games in New Zealand. That's going to be quite stressful as well. And then just briefly, the cricket team playing in the ODI. They've done the T20 series. They just lost that 2-1. They won the first ODI, the 50-over ODI. That's Temba Bavuma in great form against Australia. So they play on Friday, the second one, and the third and final 50-over ODI is on Sunday. So hopefully South Africa can clinch that one. So continuously, South Africa and Australia meet on weekends in cricket and rugby. So that is something to look forward to over the weekend.
All right, Arrie, we end with some entertainment. The historic Groot Constantia wine estate is the oldest in Cape Town and continues to attract thousands of visitors annually. Did I miss that on my visit there?
Yes. Yeah, we need more time, Ashwin. We need more time. We're going to get there on your second visit for sure. Groot Constantia is closer to Cape Town. So interesting, those that don't know the Cape Winelands, you've got 4 southern suburbs, almost wine farms that's close to Table Mountain, and the other ones are closer to Stellenbosch. These ones historically goes back way back, and it goes back all the way to 1685. So that is a long time ago. And then they already started to produce wine. There was vegetables and cattle. So that was a long time ago. In 1711, it was formed more farms around that, like Klein Constantia and also Buitenverwachting and Steenberg. But those are some of the wines. That's what it looks like. It's pretty. That's in the background. It's kind of the side of Table Mountain on the left-hand side, starting to lift there. So it's a beautiful area. It's wine region there. You can see the historic Cape Dutch buildings. So that is what's known for Groot Constantia. Very popular. 400,000 people visit Groot Constantia every year. So that is for those products and also for the scenery. It's rich in culture and it's historic. And there's great restaurants as well. And it's a great visit to be there. They've got great wine. They've got great red wine. It's the Merlot and Shiraz is popular. There's also white wine, Sauvignon Blanc, and then their Brut Rosé sparkling wine. That is hopefully some will be popped. If South Africa can beat Australia on Saturday, there will be many of them that will be popped there at Groot Constantia with the visit. So it's close to the city center actually, and it's very unique. So you've got wine region close to Cape Town and then one close to Stellenbosch. So next time, Ashwin, definitely we'll need to go to, we'll probably do Groot Constantia and Klein Constantia. Then you can look at both of them. You can see which one is the best for you. But that is Groot Constantia. That's entertainment. Always a great offer in Cape Town.
Thank you very much, Arrie, and I promise you I am definitely looking forward to the next time I am in Cape Town, especially under those conditions. Cheers, Arrie. Let's move into our economic news. Japan has opened a 3-day summit with nearly 50 African leaders at the Tokyo International Conference on African Development, signaling a major push to deepen economic and strategic relations with the continent. Prime Minister Shigeru Ishiba unveiled plans for an Indo-Pacific Africa cooperation framework designed to strengthen partnerships. Central to the agenda is the Indian Ocean Africa Economic Zone Initiative, which aims to channel Japanese business activities from India and the Middle East into African markets. Organizers describe the initiative as part of Japan's broader strategy to position itself as a reliable development partner, countering declining U.S. influence and China's growing dominance. The summit also brings together ministers, business leaders, and global officials, including UN Secretary-General Antonio Guterres, to discuss infrastructure, trade, and sustainable growth. Tokyo hopes this engagement will enhance connectivity and open new investment pathways, reinforcing Japan's role as an influential player in Africa's long-term economic development. Those have been our economic news stories, and that has been the Africa Good Morning broadcast. Thank you for joining us on DStv 285, GOtv 25, oneup2.com, Network Media Hub on YouTube, as well as NTV Africa on YouTube. Keeping in mind, on oneup2.com, if you click the echo icon, you can have a look at this episode again and other shows from NTV, because on Echo, primetime is anytime. From me, Ashwin Berry, and the Africa Good Morning team, we'll be back tomorrow. Suraj Waganaka.